You are sitting on your couch. The television snaps off. The hum of the refrigerator fades. The streetlights outside your window vanish into absolute darkness. You pull out your phone, notice the Wi-Fi is dead, and you think to yourself, I will just wait this out. That thought is the first and most dangerous mistake you can make. When the grid fails, you don't just lose power, you lose resources. There is a 40-gallon water reserve sitting somewhere in your home right now. Most people won't think about it until the water stops, and one mistake can make it completely useless. But that is not the first mistake you need to worry about, because the moment the lights go out, the clock starts. Most Americans treat a sudden blackout like an impromptu camping trip. But when the grid goes down, your home's critical infrastructure begins to fail. The decisions you make in the first 60 minutes can determine whether a blackout stays an inconvenience or becomes a much bigger problem. There are 7 critical mistakes people make when the grid fails. Mistake number 7 starts in the kitchen. You are in the dark and you feel a sudden urge to open the refrigerator to check what you have. Do not touch that door. Every unnecessary opening replaces some of that cold air with warmer room air. FoodSafety.gov recommends keeping your refrigerator and freezer doors closed. If you do, the refrigerator will keep food at a safe temperature for about 4 hours. A full freezer will hold its temperature for about 48 hours, and a half-full freezer will last about 24 hours. This is what we call domestic sovereignty. You do not hope the food stays cold, you engineer it. Keep it shut. Now you are standing in a dark kitchen, and you need light. The unprepared mind immediately reaches for a candle. Mistake number 6, lighting a candle. Candles are nostalgic. They smell like vanilla. They are also massive fire hazards. During a major grid failure, emergency services may already be dealing with a surge in calls. Dispatch centers are overwhelmed. Traffic lights are out. If you bump a side table in the dark, you are not just burning a rug. You are burning your home to the ground in a scenario where help may not arrive as quickly as it normally would. Your $20 tactical flashlight and a battery-powered LED lantern are infinitely superior. Please remain calm. Panic is extremely inefficient, and burning your house down is simply bad planning. Mistake number 5 concerns the grid itself. Do not assume it is safe to leave all your sensitive electronics plugged in. The dangerous part isn't always the outage itself. It's what can happen when power is restored. Surges can damage sensitive electronics, especially when the grid or equipment has been damaged. Turn off or unplug sensitive electronics if you can do so safely, especially if you are expecting an unstable restoration of power. Leave one lamp turned on so you know when power returns. When that bulb lights up, you'll know power is back. Which brings us to mistake number 4, and that 40-gallon water reserve we mentioned earlier. Many preppers look at their hot water heater and see a massive tank of guaranteed drinking water. Your water heater may contain a large reserve of water, but whether you can safely access it depends on your plumbing system, the condition of the tank, and how the water supply behaves during the outage. Do not improvise with valves you do not understand. And more importantly, a large tank doesn't automatically mean safe drinking water. If you ever plan to use it, treat it as an emergency source and use a verified purification method appropriate to the situation. You have secured your food. You have protected your electronics. You might think it is safe to use the bathroom. Mistake number 3 is trusting gravity. People assume that because gravity pulls water down the drain, the sewage system will function perfectly without electricity. Some neighborhoods rely on lift stations to move waste uphill. If your system uses one and it loses power, the risk changes. Without backup power, the system can lose its ability to move wastewater, increasing the risk of sewage backup. Once the system reaches capacity, wastewater can back up through the lowest available drains in affected homes. That can mean a basement drain, floor drain, bathtub, or toilet. Limit your flushing. Do not blindly use your plumbing until you know the status of your municipal waste system. So far, every mistake we've covered can make your life harder. The next one can make you unconscious. Mistake number 2 is how you place your generator. People know they should not run a gas generator inside their garage, so they put it on the front porch or under a structural overhang to protect the machine from the rain. They think outside means safe. Putting the generator outside is only half the rule. The other half is where outside actually is. If the exhaust is close enough to a soffit vent, window, door, or other opening, carbon monoxide can enter the house. Soffit vents are designed to move outside air through the attic. That is why the CDC recommends keeping generators at least 20 feet from doors, windows, and vents. And don't rely on distance alone. Keep working carbon monoxide alarms near sleeping areas with battery backup during an outage. Follow the generator manufacturer's placement instructions. We've dealt with food, fire, water, sewage, and carbon monoxide, but none of those mistakes tells your neighbors what you have. Mistake number 1 is something you do without realizing you're doing it. Turning your house into a lighthouse. When the grid goes down, your neighborhood goes dark and quiet. If you are the only house on the block with bright lights shining through the windows, the hum of a generator, and obvious signs that your house still has power, you are no longer just a prepared citizen. You are a beacon. Think of it as the lighthouse effect. The problem isn't that everyone suddenly becomes dangerous. The problem is that you've just advertised where the light, heat, food, and power are. You don't need to advertise any of them. Hang blackout curtains or heavy blankets over your windows before you turn on your lanterns. Don't run your generator unnecessarily. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for operation, fueling, and ventilation. Be prepared without advertising that you're prepared. You don't need to assume your neighbors are dangerous. You just don't need to announce what you have. It is 8:14 in the evening. The television snaps off. The hum of the refrigerator fades. The streetlights vanish. But this time, you know what not to do. You don't reach for a candle. You don't keep opening the refrigerator. You protect your electronics. You don't blindly use your plumbing. You place your generator where it belongs. And before you turn on the lights, you cover the windows. Your house isn't just a place to wait anymore. It's a system. Food, water, heat, air, power. And every one of those systems has a failure point. You don't control the grid. You control how prepared you are when it disappears. You have a plan. Congratulations, citizen. Which one of these mistakes have you made before? Tell me in the comments below and let me know what other hidden grid-down dangers we need to cover in the bunker. Stay sharp.